There is a moment, quiet, almost impolite in its honesty, when something inside you stops cooperating with the life you built. The calendar still fills, the smile still performs, the world still applauds your competence, and yet the inner scaffolding starts to tremble. You are present, but you are not at home. Words you've said 1,000 times taste foreign in your mouth. What once felt like safety now presses at the ribs like a room with no windows. Jung would call this the first touch of individuation, not a halo of bliss, but a hairline fracture between the persona you perform and the person you actually are. Awakening does not begin with light. It begins with an ache, a sacred dissatisfaction. Not the drama of catastrophe, but the soft, relentless awareness that this cannot be all there is. Nothing external justifies it. Nothing external can silence it. The soul is stirring, not with conclusions, but with questions that do not respect your schedule. From the outside, you look intact. Inside, a scene gives way. Psychologically, it is a prediction error moment. Your nervous system can no longer reconcile the story you tell with the life you live. Neuroscience would point to a disruption in the default mode network. The narrative machinery loosens, while Jung would say the self has begun to lean forward, inviting you below the surface. Stoicism offers a sentence of steel for this hour. Live in truth, not impression. The Tao whispers its counterpoint. Stop pushing the river. Both point to the same gesture. Turn toward the tremor. If you imagine your life as a cathedral, this rupture is not vandalism. It is a hairline crack that lets air in. The ego calls it failure. The self calls it threshold. In myth, this is the hour when Inanna begins her descent, when Orpheus hears a music that won't let him remain above ground. In story, it is the refusal of the call that fails. We try to double down on the old strategies, work harder, scroll longer, add one more habit stack to optimize the soul. But optimization cannot rescue what must be reordered. Let's be plain, this is not depression, though the weight can feel similar. Depression flattens meaning. The rupture sharpens it, even as it hurts. You begin noticing tiny betrayals, the laugh you offer when you're not amused, the yes that should have been a no, the way your body tenses around certain rooms, certain roles, certain expectations. The shadow, all you disowned to stay acceptable, rustles like something living behind a wall. The persona tightens its mask. You feel torn between two fidelities, the life that paid your rent and the life that wants your allegiance. Awakening is not an ascent, it is a descent into what is most real. The promise of this video, and of your own next chapter, isn't that we will replace your pain with platitudes. It's that we will name the path so the ache stops feeling like failure and starts feeling like orientation. We will map 10 luminous turns: rupture, search, illumination, resistance, shadow, dismantling, reassembly, synchronicity, expression, integration, keeping one hand in Jung's depth psychology and the other in living practices you can carry into Monday morning. Expect archetypes and dreams. Expect mindfulness drills that lower the flame without dimming the truth. Expect symbols that behave like doors. For now, linger at the beginning. Notice how the psyche moves. First, there is the micropause, the way you hesitate before replying, the breath you take instead of defending your old position. Then, the stutter of meaning. Activities that once delivered a reliable emotional return now feel strangely thin, like music played from a room away. Then the reversal. You stop asking, how do I get back to normal, and instead whisper, what if normal was the detour? Jung taught that the self speaks in images, not arguments. So the first guidance arrives as symbol, a dream of a locked house, a recurring image of water rising to the second stair, a fox at the edge of a field. You don't need to decode everything. You are being addressed, and the address is precise. What matters is your posture, not frantic decoding, but reverent attention. This is where mindfulness ceases to be a hack and becomes a vow. I will not abandon my interior when my exterior becomes convincing. Try this small practice tonight. Sit for 7 minutes. Place a hand over the center of your chest. Name, out loud, one role you've been overperforming and one feeling that role refuses to let you feel. The competent one won't let me be tender. The caretaker won't let me be angry. Let your jaw unclench. Let the sentence hang in the air like incense. You are not fixing anything. You are breaking the spell of unconsciousness. As Jung reminded us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Tonight you refuse to call it fate. And yes, the ego will bargain. More coffee, more productivity, more cleverness. But cleverness cannot cross this threshold. Only honesty can. Honesty that sounds like, I am lonely in rooms that call me successful. Honesty that admits, I have traded aliveness for approval. Honesty that risks, I do not recognize the person who carries my name. This is not melodrama, this is diagnosis. The soul is attempting to reunite what the persona split apart. Here is the promise. If you can hold your seat in this room, if you can resist over-explaining the tremor away, you will begin to feel a deeper gravity take the throne. The questions won't vanish, they will rearrange. You won't be hunting for the next spiritual novelty. You'll be listening for the first true instruction. And it will be simple. Never easy, but simple. Something like, say one honest sentence. Keep one small boundary. Put one mask down. Grieve one unlived day. The cathedral can be repaired, but not to its previous floor plan. A window wants to be cut where a wall has been. When the call first arrives, the task is not to sprint. It is to stay. Stay long enough to distinguish boredom from birth, fatigue from falsehood, numbness from necessary winter. Stay long enough for silence to become companion rather than punishment. The rupture is not the end of your belonging. It is the beginning of belonging to yourself. Now we descend, carefully, courageously, into the stages that follow. But do not rush past the doorway. The way you cross it will echo through the rooms to come. Once the crack appears, curiosity rushes in like weather. You reach for books as if their spines were door handles. Voices that never interested you before, monks, analysts, poets, begin to sound like relatives you forgot you had. You underline aggressively, stack practices like talismans, breath work at dawn, cold water at noon, a mantra at dusk. It's beautiful. It's also dangerous, because the ego, now threatened, will happily cosplay as the soul if it keeps its throne. It will turn awakening into a brand and the search into a collection. Jung would not shame the appetite, he would refine it. The second stage is not stop seeking. It is become a discerning seeker. Think of your psyche like a field after rain. Every seed looks viable. Not every seed belongs in this soil at this season. The self is not impressed by how much you consume. It responds to what you digest. Modern psychology helps us here. The nervous system loves novelty. The dopamine system spikes for pursuit more than possession. That means the chase feels meaningful even when integration never arrives. Add algorithms trained to amplify your spiritual whims, and you can scroll yourself into a counterfeit awakening. Highly stimulated, perennially untransformed. A simple diagnostic. If your practices don't change your Tuesday conversations, you are learning about truth, not living from it. So we trade volume for coherence. The search bends inward, not as withdrawal from the world, but as a commitment to reality over performance. Begin with your attentional diet. In the rupture, your attention is the most valuable currency you own. Spend it as if you intended to become what you behold. 3 calibrations for a real search. 1 teacher, 1 text, 1 season. Choose a primary teacher, living or dead. A single text, and commit for 90 days. Read slowly, with a pencil, in the same chair. Let the words argue with your life. This is Jung's spirit of active encounter with the imaginal. When a sentence burns, stop. Close the book. Ask, what behavior would this sentence request of me by nightfall? Do that, not 10 more pages. 2. From ritual shopping to ritual keeping. Make 2 daily practices non-negotiable and let the rest be optional. Keep them short so they survive bad days. 7 breaths plus 1 sentence. Inhale 4, exhale 6, 7 times. Then say 1 honest sentence about your current state. I am irritated and afraid this won't work. Honesty reduces psychic static. The self prefers clean rooms. 10 minutes of witnessing. Sit. Label experience in 4 streams. sensation, emotion, image, thought, without fixing any of them. This is mindfulness as hospitality, not control. Over weeks, you'll feel a seam loosen. Reactivity loses its instant veto. Third weekly integration hour. Once a week, sit at a table with paper. Divide the page. What I consumed, / what I practiced, / what changed. If the third column stays empty, shrink the first and fatten the second. The point is not perfection, it's feedback. Individuation is iterative. The search is also a pilgrimage through symbol. You're not chasing penance, you're learning the self's alphabet. Dreams become a postal service. Synchronicities are marginalia in the day's text. Resist the urge to decode everything into certainty. In Jung's world, symbol mediates between conscious and unconscious. It points beyond itself. Treat each symbol like an elder. Visit regularly. Don't interrogate. Ask for a small instruction fit for this week. A compact imaginal practice, 10 minutes. Set a candle. Write one question by hand. What wants to be lived in me now? Close your eyes. Let an image arrive. House, river, key, animal. Don't polish it. Ask the image, what do you ask of my day? Receive one tiny behavioral instruction. Send an apology. Take a walk without headphones. Eat without a screen. Say no to the thing that keeps stealing your evenings. This is not superstition. It's translation. Imagery into behavior. Energy into form. The ego will resist discernment by offering performance. It will measure your awakening by the exoticism of your rituals, the minimalism of your shelf, the aesthetic of your incense. The self doesn't care. The self checks alignment. Do your relationships grow in honesty? Does your work become more truthful? Does your speech waste fewer words? If the answer drifts toward yes, the search is alive. Myth warns against the collector's trap. Think of Odysseus, brilliant, endlessly diverted. Each island teaches, but he must depart or he never returns. Many seekers stay forever on Lotus Eater shores. Soft, dreamy, perpetual preparation. The remedy is thresholds. Tiny doors you force yourself to walk through where learning must cash out as life. Examples. Tell the truth you've avoided. Renegotiate one boundary. Create the thing you only consume. Write the essay, volunteer. Start the study group. The soul respects moves. A disguised vignette. Nadine, 35, had read everything. Her notes app was a reliquary of profound quotes, but her life was still crowded with yeses that meant please like me. We built a single season plan. One Jung text, memories, dreams, reflections. One practice pair, 7 breaths plus sentence, 10 minutes witnessing. One behavioral vow, no apologies for my no for 90 days. At week 5, she said, I'm reading less, but my voice is clearer. By week 8, I lost 2 acquaintances and gained room for a friend. The search didn't shrink, it focused. And focus is how truth develops weight. Add stoicism for backbone. The dichotomy of control trims spiritual busywork. What is mine? What is not? Mine, integrity, attention, effort, boundaries, follow through. Not mine, others' readiness, outcomes, praise. Each morning, pick one thing from the mine list and make it observable. I will email the apology I owe. Taoism contributes Wu Wei, effort that fits. It sounds like, I will keep my 2 tiny practices, not invent 8 new ones, and I will take the next right action that asks least strain for most truth. The search also re-educates the body. You cannot think your way into a new life with a nervous system trained for urgency. Reduce friction for what matters. Increase friction for what steals you. 2 levers. Friction down. Put the meditation cushion where you actually sit. Pre-open the book to your bookmark. Set your journal and pen on the table before bed. Friction up. Phone sleeps in another room. Single-task meals. Delay all online purchases 24 hours. Each small drag protects a large life. You'll notice too that the search exposes social architecture. Some rooms reward your persona and punish your presence. You need at least one room where honesty is cheaper than performance. If you don't have it, Build it. A bi-weekly circle of 2 or 3 who share one practice kept, one boundary broken, one small repair attempted. No fixing, no advice unless asked. Hold hands at the end or sit in silence. Reverence teaches more than strategies. Finally, let the search bless joy, real, unoptimized joy. Individuation is not a grim audit. Laughter that is earned by truth strengthens the container. Beauty metabolizes sorrow. Schedule 1 unproductive wonder per week. Watch weather. Read a poem slowly. Cook without a timer. Trace the contour of a leaf. The soul feasts on unjustified aliveness. A pocket rule to carry. Less input, more integration. Less promise, more practice. Less speed, more sequence. Sequence matters because energy wants shape. If you choose 1 teacher, 2 daily anchors, a weekly integration hour, and 1 threshold each fortnight where truth becomes behavior, your search will gather mass. The line between me and my life thins. Speech simplifies. You become less interested in performing awakened and more committed to becoming honest. And when the hunt for novelty finally quiets, a second kind of sound emerges. The inner knock. Not a shout, not a command, but a precise invitation. It may arrive as a dream that will not leave, a pattern you can't unknow, a sentence that follows you from desk to dinner. That knock is not the ego demanding strategy. It is the self requesting cooperation. Answer it, not with another purchase, not with a new identity, but with 1 faithful change by nightfall. The search does not end. It ripens. From here, illumination doesn't come as fireworks. It comes as a lamp lit in a room you forgot existed. Enough light for the next few steps, never the whole map. Walk by that light. Illumination does not arrive like noon. It arrives like a lamp cupped in 2 hands. The search has thinned the noise, and in the quiet, you begin to notice a second kind of guidance. Neither argument nor command. It comes as images, pauses, patterns that feel oddly specific to you. The world doesn't change shape. You develop a different eye. Jung called this shift the psyche's movement toward the self, the inner organizing center that speaks in symbol rather than slogan. Imagine a subterranean river that's been flowing beneath your life for years. When the soil stops shaking, you hear it. Not loud, but persistent. A dream repeats. A word keeps visiting. A childhood memory returns with new color, as if someone cleaned the glass. Modern neuroscience gives us a helpful parallel. When you reduce frantic input and sit with experience, the brain's salience network calibrates. Your system gets better at noticing what actually matters amid endless data. Interoception, the capacity to feel signals from the body, sharpens. In Jung's language, the unconscious is nearer to the shore. In physiology's language, the default mode network unclenches. Story takes a step back so seeing can take a step forward. Different languages, same experience. Coherence begins. Illumination is not an answer key, it is orientation. 3 qualities tend to mark it. 1. Quiet compulsion. The guidance is gentle but won't dissolve when ignored. You can distract yourself for hours. When you stop, it is still there. 2. Proportionate warmth. The signal doesn't flood you with manic certainty. It carries warmth without pressure. Fanaticism is the ego in costume. Illumination feels like a trustworthy friend. 3rd, behavioral clarity. Even if the meaning is mysterious, a next step is often simple and human. Apologize, rest, tell the truth to one person, make a small thing well. A disguised vignette. Mara, 33, woke for 3 nights from a dream of a house with 1 locked room. Instead of Googling symbols for hours, she sat at dawn with tea and drew the house, poorly, authentically. Writing beneath it, "Whose room is locked?" A sentence arrived. "The room where I admit I'm tired." That day, she made 1 phone call to postpone a non-essential project and took a nap without bargaining. The world did not applaud. Her body did. The next night, the dream returned, the door open this time, and on the floor lay a box of old letters she had written at 18. Illumination wasn't mystical fireworks. It was a sequence. Image, arrow, honesty, arrow, action, arrow, expanded image. This is how the self tutors us, through symbolic continuity married to small integrity. We often ruin the lesson by demanding a 5-year plan. Illumination gives you enough light for the next few steps. You either walk by it or you don't. To cooperate, adopt a craftsperson's posture. Make the psyche a place where subtlety survives. 5 simple practices. 1. The oniric ledger. Dreams, 7 minutes. Keep paper and pen by the bed. On waking, write 1 paragraph in present tense. I am in a green hallway. Underline verbs, run, hide, open, and colors or objects that repeat this month. Ask 1 question. What small action today honors this image? Do that thing by sundown. Call, clean, confess, create. Dreams teach best when paid in behavior. 2. Image to act translation. When a symbol visits, bridge, fox, water, draft a micro-contract. If I'm dreaming bridges, I will build 1 small relational bridge weekly. 3-sentence check-in sent. 30-minute walk with a friend. If it's water, you schedule restoration, bath, swim, unstructured time. The point isn't literalism, it's respect. 3. The threefold test, signal versus noise. Before obeying guidance, pass it through. Truth, does this align with my values and previous deep knowing? Tenderness, does it invite care toward me and others rather than demand drama? Testability, can I try it small and get feedback? If quit your life and move to a monastery arrives on day 2, start with 1 silent morning and a conversation with a mentor. Illumination scales, delusion insists. 4. Active imagination, 10 to 15 minutes. Jung's signature method. Sit quietly. Invite the image or figure that keeps visiting. An old woman, an animal, a storm. Speak to it out loud. What do you want me to know? Then answer as the figure. Yes, you will feel foolish, without pre-editing. Ask once more. What do you ask me to do today? Write the answer on a card. Later, do just that. You are training the bridge between unconscious and action. 5. Symbol hygiene. Limit content grazing on spiritual feeds for 1 week a month. Otherwise, foreign symbols colonize your field, and you lose the scent of your own. Protect the ecology of your attention the way a vintner protects a hillside. Fewer contaminants, better wine. Notice how illumination changes your speech. You talk less about transformation and more from within it. You stop exclaiming, you begin naming. I said no yesterday and felt grief, not guilt. I canceled a shiny plan. My body slept. Words become less performative and more sacramental, language that makes reality firmer. Stoicism gives backbone, assent only to what is evident. Do not inflate a whisper into doctrine. Hold a symbol like a bird, firm enough to keep it from flying away, gentle enough not to crush it. Taoism adds the art of right-sized action. If you feel compulsion rise, you probably left the Tao. Return to Wu Wei, the next, clean, least dramatic step. Another vignette. Anders, 41, kept seeing keys on billboards, in dreams, in a song lyric. His first impulse, unlock everything. New business, new city. We slowed it down with the threefold test. Truth, he'd promised his team he'd see the current project through year-end. Tenderness, abrupt change would blast his nervous system. Testability, we chose a modest experiment. 1 key each week. He would unlock 1 stuck drawer of life, schedule a medical check, have a difficult conversation, learn the new software he kept avoiding. By autumn, the big decision arrived with less heat. He didn't abandon the symbol, he domesticated it until it became a way of living rather than a mood. What about synchronicity? In illumination, signs often cluster, not to grant you permission to skip growth, but to confirm direction as you take it. Treat synchronicity like weather. If the wind is with you, you still have to row. If the wind is against you, you might wait a day, not a year. Reciprocity between inner signal and outer step is where power gathers. Resist a common trap, turning illumination into identity. I'm someone who dreams of wolves, I'm a mystic. The self is not asking for a brand, it is asking for humility. If a symbol stops visiting, let it go. If a new one comes, welcome it without fanfare. The task is not to be interesting, it is to be true. You will still doubt. Good. Doubt keeps you honest. But notice what happened since part 1. Your doubt has teeth and respect. Instead of mocking your experience, it asks better questions. Is this mine to do? Is this good for those I love? Can I test this with one day's fidelity? This is doubt as discernment, not sabotage. Carry a pocket ritual for the next week. Each morning ask, what is the smallest faithful act? Each evening ask, where did a symbol meet a step? Write one line for each. Do not miss 2 days in a row. After 7 days, reread the lines aloud. You will feel a thread, thin, real, running through the week. That thread is the shape of your lamp. Illumination is not escape from complexity. It is orientation within it. It does not cancel grief, but it keeps grief from becoming God. It does not make you special, only more accurate. Accurate people move more gently and more effectively. They offend less by accident and more by necessity. They waste less of other people's time. This is holiness in street clothes. From here, the psyche will test what has begun to grow. The ego will tighten. Resistance will rise. The shadow will step forward, not as enemy, but as a long-neglected relative with a box of your power under their arm. If illumination is the lamp, resistance is the wind. Our task is to learn how to walk with a flame that doesn't go out. Every real turning invites a counter-turn. The moment illumination lights its small lamp, a wind rises. You'll hear it first as reasonable doubt. Maybe I overread that dream. This is sentimental. Then is efficient distraction. A weekend of errands that somehow erases every practice you promised yourself. Then, if the lamp survives, as inner prosecution. Who do you think you are to change the terms of a life that's working? Jung would not call this a failure. He would call it resistance, the psyche's immune response to unfamiliar truth. Resistance is conservative by design. The ego's job has been to keep you consistent enough to survive. Same story, same rooms, same roles. Individuation asks for coherence, truthful fit between inner and outer, even when it breaks consistency. So the ego applies brakes, sarcasm toward your tenderness, sudden fatigue at the hour of practice, a revived appetite for old arguments. Don't demonize it. Thank it for its labor, then renegotiate its tasks. You protected us by mimicking other people's needs. New assignment? Protect us by guarding the practices that keep us honest. You'll notice resistance wearing 4 familiar masks. 1. Perfectionism. If I can't do it right, 45 minutes flawlessly still, it isn't worth doing. Remedy? Minimum viable ritual. 7 breaths, 10 minutes, 1 sentence. What matters is kept agreements, not heroic bursts. 2. Cynicism. People don't really change. Remedy? Receipts. Write weekly evidence of even microscopic shifts. 1 boundary kept, 1 hour of clean focus, 1 apology made. Cynicism wilts under data. 3rd, over-explanation. Turning your change into a public relations campaign. Remedy. Quiet practice. 30 days without announcing the experiment. Let behavior carry the message. 4. Compulsory productivity. Adding 3 new projects on the week you needed rest. Remedy. Sabbath logic. 1 day each week with no optimizing, only presence and repair. And then comes the deeper weather, the shadow. Everything the conscious self exiled to stay acceptable. It does not arrive politely. It arrives like the basement door swinging open in a storm. Anger you learned to swallow bangs its cup on the table. Grief pours down the stairwell you kept locked. Desire you labeled too much, too wild, too late, walks in wearing your face at 18. The instinct is to bolt, to upgrade practices, hunt brighter teachings, outlight the dark. Jung warns with a paradox. Most of the shadow's mass is energy you need. The task is not to conquer it. It's to reclaim and reassign it. How? with a posture both tender and structured. Think of yourself as host and contractor. You welcome the visitor and you give the visitor a job. The 4x4 shadow frame, 20 minutes once a week. Divide a page into 4 quadrants. Trigger. Describe one moment this week that charged you. Envy, rage, contempt, collapse. Keep it behavioral. What happened? What you felt? How your body reacted. Story. Write the sentence your mind shouted, e.g., I'm always overlooked. No one else tries. If I don't perform, I'm invisible. Origin. Ask, where did I learn this sentence? Whose room gave it gravity? Name a scene if you can. Kitchen, classroom, church pew. Reassignment. Identify the gold in the reaction. Anger a boundary. Envy buried desire. Contempt exhausted idealism. Collapse, need for care. Write one small job for that energy this week. Anger will defend a 9 p.m. phone curfew. Envy will become a 30-minute practice block. Collapse will ask for help Tuesday. You are converting raw shadow into useful force. This is where neuroscience studies myth. Your nervous system needs proof that feeling a thing won't drown you or destroy your belonging, so you dose intensity. Instead of a 3-hour catharsis that leaves you shaky, schedule 15 minutes of contained expression. Cry to one song. Write an angry paragraph you will not send. Put the pillow between your hands and push as you breathe. Then close deliberately. Drink water, step outside, touch a tree, do one ordinary task, wash a cup. You are teaching the animal body a new gospel. We can feel and not fragment. A disguised vignette. Luke 38 wore wit like armor. He mocked what mattered as a preemptive strike. In session, he finally named the sentence beneath the jokes. If I want too much, I'll be punished. We built him a 3-week wanting practice. Every day, write one ordinary desire and fulfill it within 24 hours. Sit in the park, call a friend, cook one honest meal. Week 2, his sarcasm softened. Week 3, he told his brother, I can't host Sunday, without apology, and didn't crumble when the room cooled. The shadow of excess had become permission. The energy returned to its rightful work, choosing. Myth gives us maps for this descent. Inanna undresses at each gate. Dante must walk with Virgil through hell. Psyche sorts a mountain of seeds with the help of ants. Each picture teaches scale and companionship. You do not pull the entire shadow into the kitchen tonight. You sort a small pile with one ally, a therapist, a circle, a trustworthy friend who can say, yes, this is real, and no, you are not only this. Add the stoic frame for edges. Some things are in my control, others are not. In, my honesty, boundaries, practice, repair. Out, other people's reactions, timelines, interpretations. This matters when shadow work reshapes relationships. Your truth may disappoint someone who preferred your mask. The goal is not to persuade them. It is to remain kind and clear while you stop abandoning yourself. Add the Taoic rhythm for mercy. Wu Wei, right-sized action. If a conversation would be a hurricane today, make it a drizzle. I'm trying something different. I'll need a quieter Sunday. You aren't evading. You're practicing sustainable courage. What about the moments when shadow energy hijacks the wheel? You snap, scroll, spend, ghost. No drama. Repair is the ritual that keeps transformation human. The 5% confession, under 3 minutes. Name the act. I cut you off yesterday. Name the impact. It likely made you feel dismissed. Name your edge. I get reactive when I feel rushed. Offer a repair. Here are 2 ways I can do better next time. Invite voice. Is there something you want me to hear? No groveling, no self-flagellation, just craft. Repeated repairs teach your nervous system that truth does not equal exile. A trap to avoid. Spiritualizing avoidance. I'm sitting with my shadow, you say, while avoiding the email, the budget, the doctor's appointment. Depth is not a hall pass from adulthood. Shadow work that doesn't increase functional reliability is mood work, not soul work. Expect your calendar, finances, diet, sleep to grow more boringly steady as you integrate. Boring is holy when your history was chaotic. Another trap, turning the shadow into a brand. Posting your pain for applause is still the persona, just in darker clothes. Share in rooms that can hold you. Practice in private where no algorithms grade your tears. Individuation wants weight, not spectacle. Carry this pocket drill for the next 7 days. Morning, 1 minute. Hand on chest, name today's likely trigger and today's chosen tool. Trigger, criticism. Tool, 3 breaths before reply. Midday, 30 seconds. Ask, what is my shadow trying to do for me? Anger, protect. Envy, point. Numbness, give rest. Thank it, redirect it. Evening, 3 minutes. 1 line each. Trigger, I met. Tool, I used. Repair, I owe. Cue the repair before sleep. If illumination is a lamp and resistance is wind, then shadow work is the cupped hand that learns the wind's patterns. When to shield, when to let it blow the smoke away. Some nights the flame will gutter. You'll eat standing up. You'll say the practiced yes. Forgive yourself quickly. Recommit quietly. Holiness is not the absence of drafts. It is the stubbornness to relight the wick until the room remembers its shape. Soon, because you cooperated rather than collapsed, the descent will change flavors. The storm will not stop, but something in you will. The ego's grip loosens. Control drops its lawsuit. In the clearing, a larger silence arrives, not blank, not cold. A chrysalis starts to knit around the parts of you that no longer want to live by performance. This is dismantling's threshold, the psychic death that composts the mask into soil for the self. We will not sentimentalize it. We will walk it. There is a threshold beyond resistance where effort no longer works. You have named the patterns, felt the wind of the shadow, made repairs in daylight, and yet a deeper silence descends. Not the punishing quiet of exile, the operative quiet of a room being rearranged. This is dismantling, the slow unmaking of the self that bought survival with performance. Jung called it a psychic death, not annihilation but composting. The persona sloughs off like old bark. The animal won't sprint. The calendar looks the same. You do not. Dismantling is not dramatic from the outside. You still answer emails, show up to meetings, make dinner. But inside, the scaffolds you leaned on for years no longer bear weight.
Take a look.
Praise arrives and lands without echo. Old cravings knock.
Today is full moon, so I try to take some picture and videos.
Former goals feel like costumes in a closet you outgrew while sleeping. You are not depressed. You are de-identified. The nervous system that once sparked at any cue now idles, as if waiting for a more truthful engine. The ego calls this emptiness a failure. The self calls it a kiln. Clay cannot become a vessel without heat that looks like destruction. Myths knew this. Inanna must hang on the hook. Jonah must sit in the belly. Christ lies in the tomb on a Saturday so silent, it redefines time. Saturdays of the soul are not for strategies. They are for staying while the old map burns. Why does the psyche insist on this season? Because structure matters. You cannot pour new wine into old skins and expect anything but rupture. If illumination gave you a lamp and shadow work a hand to guard it, dismantling is the dark room where the image develops because you refuse to flip on a bright, lying light. 3 signs you are in authentic dismantling. 1. Loss of counterfeit motivation. The fuel of anxiety, performance, and people-pleasing no longer ignites. You cannot scare or flatter yourself into movement. Only truth moves you. 2. Infant honesty. Your answers simplify. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm not available. Not dramatic, not defensive, just accurate, like weather. 3rd, gentle disgust for spectacle. You sense how much of your life was choreography. You begin to prefer small good work to visible empty work. There is risk here. The void invites avoidances wearing monk's robes. Perfecting your morning routine, rearranging your altar, buying another book about surrender. Don't let ritual become a moat around the castle you refuse to renovate. Dismantling wants fewer moves with greater honesty. A posture for the kiln. 1. The rule of half. For 1 month, cut in half whatever you overuse to stay numb. News, sugar, caffeine, closing hours at work, scrolling. Do not aim for purity, aim for space. Into the reclaimed minutes, place nothing impressive. Walk, breathe at the window, cook 1 simple meal, call a real friend. You are proving to your body that life continues when you stop whipping it. 2. The minimum viable fidelity, MVF. Pick 3 actions that keep you tethered to truth when identity dissolves. 7 conscious breaths on waking. 10 minutes of witnessing, sensation, emotion, image, thought. 1 honest sentence spoken to 1 person daily. If you drop everything else, keep these. You are maintaining a thin, unbreakable thread through the dark. 3. The 72-hour echo. In dismantling, big choices feel both urgent and foggy. Borrow a rule. Sit with any major change for 72 hours while keeping MVF. If clarity holds, you act. If it thins, you wait. This protects you from wrecking the right thing out of impatience and from preserving the wrong thing out of fear. A disguised vignette. Elise, 42, the reliable one, could always muscle through. In dismantling, muscle failed. She wasn't burned out in the corporate sense. She was done in a cellular way. We gave her no heroic goals.
For 6 weeks, her entire craft was MVF rule of half, halved overtime, halved caffeine, and 1 honest no per week with no explanation. By week 2, she wept in the grocery aisle, not from sadness, but relief. I'm not performing how to buy greens. By week 5, she noticed a different desire rising that wasn't rebellion, it was preference. By week 6, she could say, I like my work again, if I do it at human speed. Dismantling had not erased her life, it had erased the lies that made her abandon herself inside it. You will grieve, not just losses in the usual sense. You will grieve the fantasy that a more perfected persona would have saved you. You will grieve the rooms that only wanted the mask. You will grieve the version of you who worked so hard to be acceptable that they forgot to be alive. Grief here is not evidence of wrongness. It is evidence of love. Love for a self returning from exile. How to grieve without drowning. Small, scheduled sorrow. 15 minutes, 3 times a week. Music that matches. Hand on chest. 1 sentence. Something is ending, and I bless it. Close with water on your face, and 1 task. Fold a shirt, wipe a counter. You are teaching your body that endings do not equal annihilation. Name the gain. After each grief time, write 1 sentence beginning, now that I don't have to be instance, I can blank. Freedom is shy, call it by name. If dismantling is true, relationships will shift. Some bonds deepen as pressure to perform dissolves, others cool, a few break. Practice the kind gate. Clarity. This is what I can give without leaving myself. Consent. Are you willing to meet me there? Consequence. If not, I will bless you and stand back. No drama, no slander, just architecture. The self builds rooms where love can breathe. It does not beg the wrong house to widen its door. Add backbone from the Stoics. Control the controllable.
Your fidelity, your craft, your repair, not outcomes or opinions. Add mercy from the Tao. Wu Wei, right-sized effort. If you are exhausted, right-sized action is a nap, not a manifesto. If you are restless, right-sized action is a small, finished thing, not a rebrand of your destiny. Watch the markers of healthy dismantling. Sleep gets a little heavier, then clearer. Humor returns, dry, kind, unperformative. Your appetite for gossip dies. Your appetite for texture, music, wind, soup, grows. Speech shortens. A paragraph becomes a sentence. A sentence becomes silence. The silence is not empty. It is sovereign. Beware the counterfeit. Self-erasure dressed as surrender. If your practices make you smaller in the rooms that need your voice, that is not soul. That is fear wearing linen. Real dismantling increases agency even as it softens edges. You say fewer things and they matter more. You take fewer actions and they move real weight. When does dismantling end? It doesn't, as a rhythm, but the acute phase passes. You will feel it the way sailors feel a change in sea. The chop persists, yet the boat stops taking water. The emptiness becomes space. The silence becomes company. Without announcement, a green shoot appears where the mask used to stand. A preference, a boundary, a sentence you trust. Reassembly has begun. Before we cross, leave yourself a breadcrumb trail. Write a note to the future you. We kept faith. Put it in your wallet. Choose one object, ring, string, coin, as a totem for this season. When you touch it, breathe once like someone who does not need to be impressive to exist. Pick one room in your home and make it honest. Remove 3 things that belong to your old performance. Add 1 thing that belongs to your peace. Dismantling is not the end of the story. It is the end of lying about who is telling it. What survives the kiln deserves to live. What does not survive deserves to be thanked and let go. As Jung wrote, in each of us there is another whom we do not know. Dismantling is how the unknown one finds a chair at your table. Next, we learn how to build again. Not a return to hustle, but a slow construction from the self outward. Choosing work without self-betrayal, speaking with clean edges, loving with a nervous system that doesn't mistake intensity for safety. Reassembly is patient architecture. We will draw the lines together. Reassembly is quieter than you hoped and sturdier than you feared. No trumpets, no rebrand. The world is still the world. Emails, dishes, deadlines. But your hands are different on the steering wheel. You're not back, you're beginning. And beginning from the self has a texture. Less rush, more accuracy. Fewer promises, more kept ones. Less spectacle, more weight. Individuation stops being a concept and becomes craft. Jung would say the ego has accepted its demotion, from monarch to minister. It still speaks, but it no longer writes law. You feel this in small mercies. You wake and don't immediately audition for the day. You answer questions with weather reports instead of defenses. You stop designing a personality to be loved and start living a life that can love. Reassembly is architecture. We build load-bearing walls where performance once hung flimsy curtains. 3 rooms matter most: time, speech, and work. If these reform truthfully, love and creativity find a house they can inhabit without fear. 1. Time. The calendar as a moral document. Your calendar used to be a monument to other people's expectations. Now it becomes an artifact of values. Try the rule of first blocks. Schedule the first 2 60-minute blocks of your workdays for the tasks that move your real life forward. The difficult, writing, the repair conversation, the unglamorous accounting. Guard them as if they were a standing medical appointment with your soul. Then let the day take what remains. Add a weekly capacity review, 15 minutes, same time. List what fits: X hours deep work, Y social, Z admin, and what spills. If it spills every week, it isn't a time problem, it's a truth problem. Either shrink the commitment or shrink the fantasy. Individuation prefers reality to aspiration. 2. Speech, language is carpentry. Reassembly trims language until it can bear weight. Adopt the 4 honests. Honest, yes. Yes, and I'll deliver by Friday, 3 p.m. Honest, no. No, I'm not available for that. No apology attached. Honest condition. Yes, if we narrow the scope to X. Honest change. I gave a yes from the wrong part of me. Here's the repair I can offer. Speak these in a calm voice. You are not escalating. You are building edges. Edges bless the room. Everyone knows where the furniture goes. 3. Work. From performative busyness to durable usefulness. Choose a keystone craft. One domain in which you will measure progress by quality over noise. Make a definition of done for your next deliverable. Done equals submitted draft to A by Thursday. Incorporated B's 2 notes. Shipped V1. Celebrate finished rather than inspired. The self trusts completion. The persona lives on grand plans. A disguised vignette. Ria, 29, a designer, had spent years doing immaculate begins and chaotic middles. We gave her the rule of first blocks, 4 honests, and a definition of done per project. Week 3, she sent a humble draft she would have once polished into oblivion. It wasn't perfect, it was real. Her client replied, "I can finally collaborate with you." Individuation didn't make Ria a genius, it made her reliable. Reliability is holy when your history is glittering flake. Reassembly also asks you to renegotiate with energy. Shadow gave you power back. Now you assign it to jobs that keep you human. Try energy budgeting. Sunday, 10 minutes.
Write your week's 3 high drain items: difficult meeting, family visit, complex build. Place 1 counterweight after each: a long walk, a no-phone meal, bedtime enforcement. This isn't self-care as reward, this is engineering. Bridges don't stand by vibes, neither do lives. Bring in stoic backbone. Aim only at what depends on you. You cannot control reception, you can control craft and character. Before a presentation, ask just 2 questions. Is the work honest? Is my body settled? If yes, you're at 100% of your jurisdiction. Release the rest. Bring in Taoist ease, Wu Wei, right-sized effort. Push when it's time to push. Flow when the rock asks you to move around it. Strain is not proof of meaning. You'll notice relationships repattern. With edges in place, intimacy deepens where it should and thins where it must. Practice low-drama maintenance. Micro repairs in 24 hours. If you misstep, use the 5% confession, part 4. Bid for depth, then bless. Offer a real question. If the room can't hold it, release without sulking. Saying, I don't know. 4 magic words that keep love from drowning in advice. What about desire? In earlier stages, Eros felt like flood or famine. Reassembly teaches channel. Name 3 desires you'll resource this quarter: creative, relational, vocational. For each, design 1 non-dramatic move that can be finished in a week. Draft 2 pages. Plan a simple dinner. Enroll in a short course. Then repeat. Desire grows strong legs when it is given stairs, not wings. Your body will tell you reassembly is real. Sleep that lands, shoulders that sit lower, hunger cues that sound like polite bells instead of alarms. You crave textures again, rain on a window, bread you actually taste, a laugh that doesn't audition. These are not sentimental details. They are diagnostics. The self likes texture. It's how embodiment votes. A trap to watch: the relapse of optimization, turning individuation into a performance metric. If your practices make you rigid or superior, you left the path. The cure is play and service. Schedule 1 small thing weekly that doesn't advance anything. A bad sketch, a slow run, bread that fails delightfully. And give an hour away. Help someone move, edit a resume, read to a child. Service keeps the self from becoming a curated terrarium. Another trap: identity foreclosure, cementing the new you too soon. I'm the person who always... Stop. Leave a window open. Individuation is iterative. Today's container must have room to grow tomorrow's bones. Keep the 72-hour echo for big shifts and the minimum viable fidelity for rough days. Resilience is a rhythm, not a strain. Reassembly is also a theology of enough. Enough time to do what's yours. Enough word to say what is true. Enough work to sleep without bargaining. You will still have anxious mornings and noisy rooms, but beneath them is a floor you did not have before. You keep landing on it. It keeps holding. A compact weekly ritual to anchor this stage. Sunday setup, 25 minutes. Write 3 true moves, 1 per domain: time, speech, work. Schedule first blocks. Choose the week's kind no, 1 boundary you will keep. Pre-stage tools: book open, document template, walking shoes by door. Midweek audit, 10 minutes. What did I finish? What repair do I owe? Where did I abandon or honor myself? Friday benediction, 5 minutes. Name 1 moment you were accurate instead of impressive. Thank it. A final vignette. Mateo, 47, ran a community kitchen. He'd lived years fueled by crisis and applause, beloved, depleted, brittle. Reassembly looked like boredom. Menu plans finished on Monday, a nap on Wednesday, 4 honest with donors, and leaving at 6 p.m. The kitchen didn't dim, it steadied. Volunteers stayed longer, breakdowns decreased. His daughter said at dinner, "You're fun again." Individuation didn't make Mateo mystical, it made him present. This is what we're after. Not a shinier mask, but a life you can stand inside without flinching. A life where you can be tired and still be kind, scared and still keep the promise, uncertain and still tell the truth.
From here, the world begins to meet you differently. Patterns break. Synchronicities feel less like miracles and more like good fit between inner and outer. Expression will grow cleaner. Embodiment will deepen. Integration will stop being a destination and start being the way you set the table. You built this room. Sit in it. Invite one friend. Light a candle. Eat slowly. Say very little. Let the quiet do some of the talking. Tomorrow we keep building. Reassembly gives your life edges. Then something curious begins to happen along those edges. Texts arrive the minute you decide to repair. A book you almost bought lands on your desk from a friend. A stranger names the very sentence you wrote in your journal at dawn. It isn't spectacle, it's fit. A consonance between inner motion and outer event that Jung called synchronicity. A meaningful coincidence where the link is not causal but psychic. When you stop dragging the world to match your persona and start living from the self, the world stops feeling indifferent and begins to feel responsive. Synchronicity is not a vending machine. It is weather. And like weather, it is interpreted by sailors, not spectators. People in motion who know the temperament of wind and water and refuse to mistake every gust for a prophecy. The persona exploits synchronicity to bypass growth. 3 signs. I'm meant to quit, confess, pursue. The self treats synchronicity as confirmation or caution, context that helps you steer while you continue to row. 3 qualities tend to distinguish the real thing from wishful patterning. 1. Convergence without compulsion. Multiple, unrelated channels echo the same theme, as if the room is clearing its throat, yet you feel room to choose. If urgency is screaming, check for fantasy or fear. 2. Moral coherence. The sign supports integrity you already committed to in daylight. The more a coincidence asks you to violate trust, the more likely it is your hunger in costume. 3rd right scale. The outer echo points to the next faithful step, not a dramatic leap that conveniently avoids the uncomfortable middle, a disguised vignette. Ari, 36, kept encountering the image of bridges, dreams, street posters, a child's drawing left on a cafe table. He wanted to interpret it as, burn the old job, sprint to the new. We slowed it down. What bridge in your life needs stone, not fire? He named a coworker he'd quietly resented. The next faithful step was a conversation, not an exit. He scheduled it. On the morning of the meeting, a newsletter he never subscribed to arrived titled, How to Have Repair Conversations. He laughed, not because the universe did his work for him, but because the timing supported the work he was finally willing to do. If synchronicity is weather, you need instruments. Try these 3. 1. The 2-column log. 5 minutes, nightly. Left column, inner, dream image, intuition, sentence that clung. Right column, outer, coincidences, invitations, obstacles. Draw a line where the day's entries rhyme. Ask, what small act honors both? This trains you to link without inflating. 2. The 24-hour courtesy rule. When a big sign arrives, job offer, unexpected confession, sudden invitation, grant it 24 hours of quiet fidelity to your existing practices, breath, witnessing, first blocks. If it is the self's weather, it will still be there tomorrow. If it is a squall of mood, it will pass. This protects you from throwing your life to the wind to avoid the honest inch you owe today. 3. The triangulation circle. Name 3 grounded witnesses, therapist, elder friend, colleague, who know your history and will ask you hard questions, kindly. When synchronicity suggests a pivot, run it past the circle. The self isn't allergic to scrutiny. Fantasy is. Here is where philosophy steadies spirituality. Stoicism, assent only to what is evident. Treat coincidences as inputs, not decrees. You control your clarity, craft, and character. You do not control omens. Taoism, Wu Wei, right-sized action in the flow of things. If the current runs with you, row. If it runs against you, angle across. If you cannot see the riverbed, slow until the water clears. Synchronicity is not about forcing the tide. It is about reading it with humility. There is a shadow side to signs. They can become permission slips for old habits.
impulsivity dressed as destiny, avoidance dressed as surrender. A few red flags. The sign flatters your persona and ignores your values. It collapses complexity into a binary that spares you from grief. It asks you to make others pay for your revelation. When you spot these, return to the minimum viable fidelity, breaths, witnessing, one honest sentence. The self speaks best in rooms where your nervous system is regulated. Dysregulation amplifies coincidence into command. Another vignette. Shireen, 32, prayed for a sign about a relationship. The next day she saw the partner's name everywhere, license plates, email spam, a book spine on a train. She wanted to take it as go back. We ran the moral coherence test. Did returning require betraying a boundary she had just built? Yes. Did the signs arise the week she was loneliest? Also yes. We reframed. The world was echoing her attention, not delivering an oracle. Her next step was not romantic pursuit. It was to resource the loneliness, call a friend, schedule a hike, keep the boundary. 1 month later, a different invitation arrived, from herself to date as the person she had become. That invitation she accepted. As reassembly matures, synchronicity shifts from event to ecology. Less about isolated spectacular moments, more about a consistent fit between who you are and how life arranges around you. Meetings land on days you actually have attention. Collaborators appear who prefer honest drafts to polished avoidance. You realize you're living nearer to the grain of your nature. Carpentry has a phrase for this. Cut with the grain, not against it. Individuation creates a cut with the grain life. How do you co-create responsibly in this ecology? Make clear offers. Accept clear refusals. The self participates through offers, not manipulation. Here is what I can give. Here is when. Here is the scope. When the answer is no, do not alchemize it into a mystical maybe. Bless it. Move. The universe is not withholding your destiny. It's editing it. Design for reversibility. When experimenting in response to a sign, choose moves that can be undone with minimal harm if you're wrong. Pilot the workshop before quitting to become a teacher. Date in daylight before merging lives. Reversibility turns fear into curiosity and protects other people from your experiments. Stay apprentice-minded. Treat each coincidence as a lesson, not a coronation. Keep notes. Ask, what pattern of living seems to invite clearer echoes? What pattern muddies them? Adjust accordingly. Apprentices adjust. Heroes announce. You'll also begin to feel a subtler reciprocity. When your inner state is clean, the outer world wastes you less. This is not magic, it's mechanics. Clear boundaries reduce chaotic invitations. Honest speech attracts honest collaborators. Regulated nervous systems regulate rooms. The mystery is partly design. Caution, do not outsource courage to timing. When the signs are undeniable, I'll know. The self meets you after you lift your foot, not before. Faith in this tradition is not believing you will be caught. It is lifting your foot in proportion to your current clarity and capacity. Small lifts, repeated, invite larger guidance. A compact weekly ritual to keep synchronicity sane. Monday orientation, 10 minutes. One inner intention, one outer offer, one contingency if neither lands. Wednesday mid-course, 7 minutes. Name one coincidence, ask for its right-sized instruction. Often, communicate, rest, persist. Friday gratitude without superstition, 5 minutes. List 3 places the week answered you. Thank them without turning them into dogma. What about suffering that doesn't rhyme? Illness, layoffs, accidents with no poetry. Individuation is not a talisman against contingency. Synchronicity is a language, not a law. The river has floods and droughts. Co-creation in hardship looks like meaningful response, not magical rescue. Telling the truth faster, asking for help sooner, keeping faith with small practices that keep your humanity intact when outcomes won't. A final vignette. Noah, 55, lost a contract the same week his mother fell ill. There were no sweet signs, only stress. He kept his first blocks anyway. 1 hour of honest work before the hospital, 1 hour of walking after.
Mid-month, a former client wrote unprompted, "Are you available for a small project?" It didn't fix everything, it fit. He took it. He kept walking. He cried in his car and did not apologize to the steering wheel. At the end of the season, he said, "Synchronicity didn't save me. It steadied my hand. That is enough." That is adulthood with myth inside it. When the world starts answering, your job is not to prove you are chosen. Your job is to stay accurate, to practice a life that deserves the answers it's asking for. From here, expression grows clean, embodiment thickens. Integration stops being a destination and starts being the way you wash a cup. The river keeps moving. You keep rowing. Together you make a sound that resembles music. We'll turn now to expression, how to let the self speak in your voice, through your hands, inside your actual schedule, without performance, without apology. When the world starts answering, the next pressure tempts you to turn your becoming into a performance. You'll feel the old itch to brand the new truth, to sculpt a persona called authentic. Resist. Expression in this stage is not decoration, it is disclosure. The self stepping into daylight, carefully, accurately, through voice, choice, and craft. Jung would say the psyche is seeking congruence. The image within wants to match the image without. Not perfectly, faithfully. Expression begins with scale. The ego thinks in broadcasts. The self thinks in exchanges. Don't launch a manifesto. Speak one clean sentence to the right person at the right time. Don't re-architect your career overnight. Ship one honest deliverable that bears your actual standards. The self is not shy. It is precise. 3 axes will carry your voice: truth, tone, and timing. Truth. Say what is real, not what is impressive. Your expression becomes credible when it passes the back porch test. Could you say the same sentence to a friend at dusk without flinching? If a line only works on a stage or a feed, it is probably air. Write how you would speak if nobody could clap. Then trim. Expression is more wood than lacquer. Tone. Let the body set the color. Your nervous system chooses punctuation. If you're amped, you will use exclamation points your soul didn't sign. Before you speak, settle. 7 breaths, jaw unclenched, 2 feet on ground. Ask, what tone matches truth and care? Firm, warm, quiet? Tone is not aesthetics. It is an ethical choice. It decides whether your words land as invitation or intrusion. Timing, right message, right moment. Taoism's Wu Wei protects expression from force. If the room is hot, you don't pour gasoline even if your sentence is correct. You wait until receiving is possible, or you scale it to fit. 1 line, not 10. A question, not a verdict. Stoicism adds backbone. If the moment truly calls for you and fear says, later, you speak now in the smallest faithful unit. A disguised vignette. Seren, 31, had a habit of telling the truth in essays. Long messages that exhausted readers and obscured the point. We built her a 2-sentence rule for charged topics. Sentence 1 equals truth. Sentence 2 equals care. I won't take this project. I want our work to remain clean. I need more time. Your trust matters to me. In 3 weeks, conflict dropped. Respect rose. Expression didn't shrink her power. It concentrated it. To keep expression from becoming a performance, you'll need constraints, luthier rules for the instrument you are. 1. The 4 gates before you speak. Is it true? Is it mine to say? Jurisdiction. Is this the time? Can I say it kindly and clearly? If any gate says no, adjust scale or timing, or write and don't send. 2. 1 medium primary. Choose a home form: voice, page, code, camera, kitchen. Let other forms be auxiliary. Depth loves continuity. Breadth loves variety. Give each its due. Primary gets your mornings. Auxiliary gets your afternoons. 3. Definition of done, for words. You are finished when A, the claim is accurate. B, the tone is clean. C, the ask is explicit. D, the body is calm. If any letter fails, you are still managing anxiety, not expressing truth. Expression also means boundary music. The shadow you reclaimed in part 4 must be given jobs in your voice so it doesn't hijack conversations. Anger becomes edge. No, grief becomes gravity. This matters. Let's slow down. Desire becomes direction. I want to build this. Who's in? The more often you assign these jobs consciously, the less often they burst unconsciously. Practice. The 3x3 voice drill, 6 minutes. Write 3 versions of one needed message. Too soft, too hard, true. Read each out loud. Notice body cues, shallow breath, clenched jaw, hollow chest. Choose the version where breath stays low and slow. Send that. Over time, your nervous system learns what truthful tone feels like from the inside. Expression in relationships asks for bids rather than tests. A test demands mind reading. If they loved me, they'd know. A bid makes a clear offer. Walk with me Saturday? Can we try no phones at dinner? If ignored, you learn something useful. Individuation doesn't manipulate people into fitting. It communicates and watches who meets it there. In creative work, expression matures when you favor finished honesty over infinite potential. Ship version 1. Let feedback sand the edges. Perfectionism hoards. Expression shares. Set publishing cadences that your life can actually carry. Weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. Consistency teaches your psyche that voice is not a lightning strike. It is a practice. A disguised vignette. Jules, 44, had 1,000 notes for a book and 0 pages. We made a Tuesday page, 1 page every Tuesday, emailed to a trusted friend. Ugly if needed, clean if possible. After 8 weeks, Jules had 8 pages and a calmer body. By week 12, a chapter. Momentum wasn't mania, it was metronome. What about the fear that honest expression will cost you? It will. Some rooms prefer your mask. Let them. Expression rearranges your social map toward people who can breathe your air. Practice loss with dignity. When a relationship cools because you stopped performing, don't litigate your growth. Bless their path. Keep building yours. The friends you gain in this weather will require less theater and more presence. Beware 2 imposters. Confessionalism is brand, telling everything to seem real. Privacy is not deceit, it is architecture. Keep sacred what needs ripening. Heroic silence, calling your avoidance mystery. If fear is blocking a necessary sentence, you are not being deep, you are being scared. Offer the smallest faithful version now. Let rituals support expression. Morning, line and load, 3 minutes. 1 line I will stand in today. 1 load I will not carry. Write both on a card. Pre-conversation. 4-4-8 breath. 1 intention, 1 ask. Intention. Clarity without blame. Ask. A scope change. Post-expression. Debrief in 3 questions. Was it true? Was I kind and clear? What did my body do? Adjust the instrument. Don't judge the musician. Fold in stoicism's humility. You own your words, not their reception. Aim at virtue, truth, justice, temperance, courage within your sphere. Release applause and outcomes. Fold in the Tao's tenderness. Push only where the wood agrees to be carved today. 1 more vignette. Amara, 39, needed to tell her mother, I won't be the family translator anymore. Old pattern. Soften until the sentence vanished. New practice. 2-sentence rule. 4 gates, 4-4-8 breath. She spoke in the kitchen, not during a fight. Early week, not holiday. Afternoon, not midnight. Her mother bristled, then quieted. A week later, her sister hired a translator for the appointment. Cost? Some heat. Gain? A life where Amara's time and tenderness can do work she chooses. That is expression's fruit. Agency with love intact. As you live this way, your voice will start to feel less like a trick and more like a place. A room with windows open, a table cleared, a chair pulled out for whoever comes honestly. You'll notice how much less language you need. You will say things once. You will pause and let silence contribute. Silence in this stage becomes a collaborator rather than a threat.
From expression, we move to embodiment, where voice densifies into habit, where the calendar and the nervous system and the kitchen table all tell the same story, slowly, day after day. Expression says, "This is me." Embodiment says, "This is how I live." Expression says, "This is me." Embodiment answers, "Watch how I live." Here the psyche asks for density, habits that can carry the weight of yourself on Tuesday at 4:15 p.m. Jung would say the image has crossed into instinct. The archetype is no longer a poster on your wall, but a rhythm in your bones. You will know you are entering embodiment when your calendar begins to look like a moral document, and your nervous system starts voting the same way your mouth does. Embodiment is humble. It does not glare. It repeats. What repeats reshapes myelination, those neural pathways that determine what feels natural. We are not chasing intensity anymore. We are installing reliability. Think of yourself as a gardener of grooves. The aim is not to feel holy. The aim is to be available to what matters because you built a body that can host it. 3 domains become temples: breath, table, and threshold. Breath, the animal that carries you. If expression is voice, embodiment is vagal tone, the health of the nerve that decides whether you fight, flee, or stay human. 2 brief anchors. 4 to 6 breathing, 3 times daily. Inhale 4, exhale 6 for 2 minutes. Long exhales tell your body, no tiger. A regulated body writes better emails, keeps kinder boundaries, survives criticism without turning to stone, naming without narrative, 90 seconds. When heat rises, sensation, jaw tight. Emotion, fear. Image, closed door. Thought, I'm cornered. No fixing. Labeling moves activity from amygdala to cortex. You remain a person. Table, where your values eat. The kitchen is a sanctuary, or a staging area for self-abandonment. Choose one non-negotiable meal ritual. Sit down, no screen. 2 deep breaths before the first bite. Gratitude sentence spoken aloud. This is not sentimentality. It is attention training. You are teaching your nervous system that nourishment is not a transaction. People who eat with presence negotiate better, sleep deeper, and make fewer bargains with exhaustion. Threshold, the way you enter and leave rooms. Before key transitions, opening laptop, stepping into a meeting, coming home. Practice the 2-beat bow. Hand to heart, breath in, breath out. 1 sentence of intent. Clarity without edge. Presence over performance. Micro rituals stop the persona from hijacking the moment. The self gets first say. Embodiment thrives on keystone habits. Small hinges that swing big doors. Build one in each of 4 layers. 1. Body. 20-minute walk daily, no headphones. You are not being productive. You are letting the psyche tumble its rocks. 2. Mind. 10-minute witnessing. Sensation, emotion, image, thought. Consistency over depth. 3. Work. First blocks. 2 protected hours weekly if daily is impossible. Craft before correspondence. 4. Relating. The 24-hour repair. If you step on a toe, use the 5% confession within a day. Relationships remain elastic because you mend small tears quickly. A disguised vignette. Kenji, 40, had read 100 books, changed nothing durable. We installed 4 keystones. Walk, witnessing, 1 first block, 24-hour repair. 90 days later, he said, I'm less interesting at parties and more trustworthy on Wednesdays. That sentence belongs on a crest. Embodiment trades charisma for credibility. You will meet boredom. Good. Boredom is the friction heat makes while it's turning into harmony. If your practices feel lifeless, don't inflate them. Resize them. Shrink to minimum viable fidelity. 7 breaths, 10 minutes, 1 honest sentence. Then add texture, not drama. Light a candle. Use a pen you like. Place the cushion where sunlight moves. The self enjoys beauty that is unimpressed with itself. Bring in seasonality. Archetypes move in cycles, so does a body. Design a quarterly rule of life. 4 lines you keep for 3 months only. Stance. What quality I am growing, e.g. steadiness. Stops. What I am having, late nights, sugar, doom scroll. Stacks.
Practices I am stacking onto existing habits. 2 breaths before calls. Service, where my becoming meets someone else's need. Weekly tutoring, meals for a neighbor. Change it each quarter. You are not chiseling a tablet. You are tuning an instrument to the weather. Embodiment also rearranges ethics from abstraction to habit. Virtue is not a belief. It is a practiced speed at which you tell the truth, fix mistakes, return what you borrowed, and say, I don't know.
Choose one virtue to train like a muscle this month.
Courage, say the smallest faithful sentence now. Temperance, stop when enough arrives. Justice, adjust a process so it's fairer for the least powerful person in the room. Prudence, wait 24 hours, let the mud settle. The shadow remains a companion. In embodiment, you assign it jobs. Anger guards edges. Desire funds projects. Envy points to unlived potential that becomes a plan. If the shadow surges, you do not sermonize, you dose. 5 minutes of movement, 1 paragraph unsent, a glass of water, a walk, repair. You are training reflexes that do not collapse the house, a trap. Perfection as identity, practices become purity tests. If you fail, you call yourself false. Refuse. Keep the never twice rule. Miss once, fine. Don't miss twice. The self is interested in return rates, not spotless charts. Another trap. Lone wolf sanctity.
Join or form a small circle. 3 people, twice monthly, 60 minutes.
Each names 1 kept practice, 1 broken boundary, 1 repair planned. No advice unless requested. 5-minute silence to end. You are building distributed steadiness. Let's get tactile. A 1-page embodiment dashboard you can copy in a notebook. Daily. 4 to 6 breath, AM/PM. 10-minute witnessing. Walk. Honest sentence to 1 person. Weekly. 2 first blocks. Integration hour. Consumed, practiced, changed. 1 repair. 1 unproductive wonder. Relational. Bid for depth. Kind. No. Gratitude text, specific. Body. Bedtime window kept. Food with attention, X meals. Phone sleeps out of bedroom. Review, Friday 10 minutes. What repeated? What helped? What hurt? What small change will I test next week? This is not a scoreboard, it is a mirror. If you find yourself faking boxes, stop tracking for a week and return to MVF. Then resume honestly. Trackers are servants, not judges. What does embodied spirituality look like in ordinary rooms? It looks like washing a cup fully. It looks like writing an email you used to avoid, and then closing the laptop. It looks like laughing at dinner without rehearsing your laugh. It looks like telling the child the truth in a way their body can hold. It looks like the nervous system that used to slam doors, now opening a window. It looks like choosing a smaller life with a larger soul. A vignette to ground it. Nora, 52, a nurse, decided that embodiment for her meant kind precision. She kept 4 to 6 breath between patients, 2 first blocks for charting, so she wouldn't steal time from her sleep. 1 repair daily, I rushed you, earlier, I'm here now. And a weekly pot of soup for the neighbor recovering from surgery. After 6 weeks, she said, my days feel like a single chord instead of a playlist on shuffle. That is embodiment, coherence audible to the people you touch. You will still wobble. The weather will still change, but wobble happens closer to center now. You do not have to invent yourself each morning. You step into a set of rails you laid piece by piece. Jung said the self holds opposites without needing to annihilate either. Embodiment is this holding turned into habit. Firm and warm, strong and soft, speaking and listening, resting and building, alone and together. From here, the arc bends toward integration, not the end of becoming, but the feeling of a life in which the rooms of you share walls, where grief is allowed to sit at the table and still the candles are lit, where love stops needing theater because truth keeps the air sweet. We'll gather the threads,
name the durable practices, and open the door toward the next right season. Integration is not a grand finale. It is a house whose rooms finally share walls. You are not living in scattered annexes, one for work, one for love, one for private collapse. You are living in one life, and the doors between rooms stay open. Jung called this wholeness, not purity, not perfection, but a psyche that can hold opposites without forcing a war. The proof is plain. Your calendar resembles your values, your body believes your voice, and your rituals are humble enough to survive a noisy Tuesday. Let's gather the arc. First came the rupture, the tremor that split performance from reality. Then the search, restless, hungry, overfull until it learned discernment. Illumination cupped a small lamp, resistance blew, and the shadow arrived carrying stolen power. In dismantling, the old scaffolds fell and you grieved the fantasy that perfection would save you. Reassembly built load-bearing edges, time, speech, work. Then synchronicity and co-creation tuned you to weather instead of control. Expression made truth a voice. Embodiment made voice a body. Integration is the quiet choreography of all of it at once. What does that choreography feel like from the inside? 1. Continuity of self. You tell one story about who you are across rooms. If you apologize at home, you apologize at work. If you need rest on Sunday, you also need it on Wednesday. Integrity is not a special mood, it's your gait. 2. Faster truth, softer hands. You reach for honesty quickly and deliver it gently. The line between kindness and clarity is no longer a negotiation, it's a habit. 3. Right-sized will. You push where pushing is holy, and you stop where stopping is wise. Effort serves the Tao of the day. Strain is no longer your proof of meaning. 4. Shadow as staff. Anger keeps the fence. Grief waters the soil. Desire funds the project. The underworld works upstairs now. 5. Repair is culture. Mistakes don't metastasize. You mend small tears within 24 hours. Rooms remain elastic because you refuse to let shame run facilities. To keep integration durable, think like an artisan stewarding an instrument you love. The goal is not never crack. The goal is tune often. An integrated rule of life. 1 page, 1 season. Axis, 1 word. The quality the season needs. Steadiness, mercy, courage, simplicity. Anchor, daily. 4 to 6 breath plus 10-minute witnessing plus 1 honest sentence. Craft, weekly. 2 first blocks. Definition of done for 1 keystone deliverable. Relating, weekly. 1 bid for depth, 1 kind no, 1 5% confession if needed. Body, nightly. A real meal at a table, screens parked, 2 breaths before first bite. Sabbath, weekly. No optimizing, only presence and repair. Service, weekly. 1 hour where your becoming blesses someone else, off stage. Pin it where you actually look, fridge, laptop lid, inside a closet door. Edit every quarter. Integration is living paper, not stone. A compact morning to evening thread you can adopt tomorrow. Dawn, 2 minutes. Hand to heart. Smallest faithful act? Write it. Do it before noon. Midday, 30 seconds. Name the weather. Agitated? Tender? Clear? Choose the tone that matches truth and care. Evening, 5 minutes. 3 lines. Kept faith where? Broke faith where? Repair I.O. Put the repair on tomorrow's card. This is not about being interesting. It is about being available to what and whom you love. The people around you will feel it first. A steadier presence, a kinder voice that still has edges, jokes that don't wound, silence that nourishes. You become the kind of person with whom rooms breathe easier. You will still wobble. The archetypes will cycle. There will be weeks when you forget your breath and months when grief sits heavy. Integration does not prevent weather. It builds a climate, patterns of response that keep you human while the sky changes. When you slip, refuse the old seductions. Self-story as trial, productivity as penance, spectacle as salvation. Return to minimum viable fidelity and begin again. You have not lost the road. The road is in your pocket. Consider 3 vows to seal this season. 1. The vow of accuracy. I will choose accurate over impressive. If a sentence is 80% true and 20% performance, I'll trim until it fits in my mouth without flinching. 2. The vow of proportion. I will scale my actions to my clarity. Big clarity, big move. Small clarity, small move. No move powered by panic. 3. The vow of repair. When I miss, I mend. Quickly, simply, without a sermon. And yes, allow beauty. Integration is not beige, it is textured. Bread torn with friends, rain listened to on purpose. A body that learns sunlight again. The self is austere about honesty and generous about wonder. Keep little altars that are not precious. A candle stub where you read. A smooth stone in your pocket. A song you play before you speak hard truths. These are not decorations. They are handles you can grab when the floor tilts. A final story, disguised.
Leah, 46, used to oscillate. Intense seasons of control, then collapse. Over a year she practiced what you've practiced. Lamps and wind, kilns and chords. When her father got sick, there were no perfect signs, only hospital air and forms to fill. She kept breath in the parking lot, told the doctor the smallest, faithful sentence, asked her brother for help without apologizing, and every Friday made soup for 2 households. It wasn't heroic, she said. It was steady. Her father heard Bach in the room and slept. Leah signed papers with a hand that didn't shake. That is integration. Music inside duty. Tenderness inside edge. Self inside the human hour. If this journey has stirred something in you, if a sentence became a handle or a practice became a path, carry it forward. Leave one breadcrumb for someone behind you. A micro-ritual. A kinder boundary. A conversation that tells the truth without theatrics. This is how cultures change. One accurate person at a time. Repeated. A gentle invitation if you want more of this work. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and join a community that favors depth over speed and craft over spectacle. If you're choosing one next step, start with the morning card, the smallest faithful act, and tell us in the comments what you chose. If you want a companion video, watch the piece on Shadow to Boundary Alchemy. It pairs with this chapter like a left hand with a right. You don't have to become someone else. You are already the house. Keep the doors open. Keep the lamp lit. Keep the repairs quick. Keep the bread warm. The spiral continues. Now you know how to walk it. There's a particular quiet that arrives after real work. Not the hush of avoidance, but the silence of alignment. If you listen closely, you can hear your life breathing differently. The calendar no longer argues with your values. Your body believes your voice. Your rituals, small and unglamorous, have begun to carry you. This is the texture of a path lived, not merely admired. Before we part, gather the thread you've spun across these chapters and wind it around a few sturdy pegs you can reach for when the weather turns. Peg 1, the smallest faithful act. Every morning, write one sentence. Today's smallest faithful act is, make it embarrassingly doable. Send the honest email, keep the walk, cook the simple meal, speak the 2 clean sentences. Smallness is not a concession, it's a gateway. Individuation prefers doors you will actually open to archways you pose beneath. Peg 2, breath before story. In agitation, your mind will draft elaborate narratives that turn people into villains and you into a thesis. Practice the inversion. Breath first, story second. 4 in, 6 out, 20 cycles. Then name what is true without adjectives. I am tired. This deadline is tight. I feel envy. It points to a desire. Let the body de-escalate the plot before the mouth escalates the room. Peg 3, shadow as staff. Keep the weekly 4x4. Trigger, story, origin, reassignment. Don't dramatize the discovery. Hand the shadow a job and a start time. Anger protects the fence. Grief waters the soil. Desire funds the project. Envy identifies the unexplored hill and schedules your first climb. Power that is hired is less likely to riot. Peg 4, 2 hours for soul work. Guard 2 first blocks per week for your keystone craft, the deep, useful thing you keep pretending you'll do when things slow down. They won't. You must slow them. After a month of defended mornings, you'll watch your respect for yourself rise in quiet increments. Confidence isn't a feeling, it's a ledger of kept promises. Peg 5. Repair within 24 hours. When you step on a toe, use the 5% confession. Name the act, the impact, your edge, your repair, and invite voice. No theater, no defense. Shallow tears do not become deep wounds when you stitch quickly. Relationships that practice repair can weather truth without bursting. Peg 6. Sabbath logic. 1 day a week. Stop optimizing. No self-improvement schemes. No productivity podcasts. No, if I just squeeze in. Presence is not a waste. It is maintenance. Walk slowly. Taste a peach. Read a page twice. Nap like a mammal that remembers it's allowed to live. Peg 7. The vows. Accuracy over impressiveness. Trim sentences until you can say them on a back porch. Proportion over panic. Scale movement to clarity. Wait 24 hours when mud clouds the water. Repair over performance. Miss, mend, move. Let's make this tactile. If you want a single-page rule of life for the next 30 days, write these lines where you will actually see them. Axis. 1 word for the month. Steadiness. Mercy. Focus. Courage. Anchors. Daily. 4 to 6 breath times 2. 10-minute witnessing. 1 honest sentence. Craft. Weekly. 2 first blocks. A definition of done for 1 deliverable. Relating. Weekly. 1 bid for depth. 1 kind no. 1 repair if needed. Body. Nightly. Eat seated. Devices sleeping elsewhere. Service. Weekly. 1 hour where you're becoming blesses someone else, off stage. Pin it to your fridge, your laptop, or the inside of a closet door. Edit it ruthlessly. This is not a museum exhibit, it's a workbench. A brief benediction in 3 scenes. At the door. Hand on the jamb before you leave the house. 2 breaths, 1 sentence of intent. Clarity without edge, warmth without collapse. Finish over flourish. Walk out like someone who knows where their feet belong. At the table, sit down, pause. Let gratitude be ordinary. This is food. This is time. This is enough. You're not performing reverence, you're remembering how to be a creature. At the nightstand, 3 lines in a notebook. Kept faith where, name 1. Broke faith where, name 1 without prosecution. Repair I.O., write the first step on tomorrow's card. Close the book. Place it under your palm. Sleep like a person who doesn't have to audition for the dark. You asked for a path that serves American audiences who love psychology, spirituality, and growth. The hidden promise of this whole arc is sobriety, not in the moralizing sense, but in the structural sense. A life that doesn't need spectacle to feel meaningful. Jung gave us the map. Persona pared back, shadow reclaimed, anima/animus integrated, self-seated, opposites held. Stoicism gave us a spine. Taoism gave us softness. Modern neuroscience explained why breath and rhythm change the way the brain chooses. You supplied the courage, reading, trying, returning. A gentle call to action then, neither hype nor hush, just a door. If this series helped, subscribe and turn on notifications so this craft has a place on your calendar, not just in your ideas. In the comments, write 1 smallest faithful act you'll do tomorrow morning. Not a dream, a door handle. We read them, we practice alongside you. If you want a next step, watch the companion piece on Shadow to Boundary Alchemy, how to convert raw heat into clean edges without losing warmth. It pairs with this like left hand with right, and if you forget all of this next week, you won't be the first or the last. Fold the paper, put it in your pocket. Start again with breath. Individuation is not a ladder you fall from. It's a spiral that keeps offering you the next right circle. Walk it once more with a quieter jaw, a kinder schedule, a steadier lamp. You don't need a new self. You need a truer rhythm. The rhythm is already in you. Let it speak. Then let it become a body. Then let the body become a home. I'll meet you in the next video. Until then, keep the lamp lit. Keep the doors open. Keep the repairs quick. Keep the bread warm.